We want lead magnets to exist in the world to attract more ideal clients. We want to attract qualified leads, people who are actually financially ready and capable of taking the next step to work with us. Welcome to the Strategy Hour podcast brought to you by Boss Project. I'm your host, Abigail Pumphrey, and I'm dedicated to supporting online businesses. I don't believe in one right way to build a business. I'm here to help you build business your way, one that supports not only the life you have, but the life you want. I'm on a personal mission to help you become financially free. I'm taking all the lessons learned as I turned a layoff into a 7-figure online business. I'm here to help you prioritize your life every step of the way. Whether you're creating your first digital product, growing an email list, or scaling an already profitable business. Settle in, it's time to talk strategy. I have some pretty strong opinions about lead magnets. In fact, if you were to sit me down with a glass of wine and quiz me about it, I would give you a lot of detail about what I think is and isn't working in the online business world today. Lead magnets have changed a lot in the last 10 years. And a huge part of that is because our entire creator economy has changed the online landscape. If you think about it, 10 years ago, knowledge databases for tech tools didn't exist. YouTube, while there, was not this robust library of learnings. You could Google things for sure, but there was a lot of unanswered questions. And today it feels like you could Google literally anything. And if you can't Google it, then you could ask AI. So why would someone want to give you their email address for what it is that you have to say? I want to talk about it because lead magnets are still incredibly powerful and a critical tool in your ability to grow and build your email list. I have personally added tens of thousands of subscribers to my email list using a wide variety of strategies over the last handful of years. But if you're curious how I've been building recently, how I've added nearly 10,000 subscribers in just 6 months, I want to give you all of my strategies, absolutely everything I've been working on. You can go grab that full case study right now if you go to bossproject.com/leads. That's bossproject.com/leads. I'm going to give you the whole rundown of everything I've been working on that has been effective and working for me. But in today's episode, I want to talk about what's going to be effective and working for you. First, I think we need to understand the role of lead magnets. I think the majority of people who want to grow their email list understand that functionally, a lead magnet is there to be given away for free in exchange for someone's email address. And while that is true, that is only part of the story. We want lead magnets to exist in the world to attract more ideal clients. We want to attract qualified leads, people who are actually financially ready and capable of taking the next step to work with us, people who are vetted, people who are excited about taking the next step. We want to gauge that energy. We want to gauge their readiness by utilizing the lead magnet as the carrot. Now, a big part of this, you have to first understand who your ideal client is. Who are you trying to sell to? Who are you trying to market to? Who do you want to work with? Or perhaps who do you know you can give the biggest transformation to? If you were to sell your current offer, your current service, your current digital product, whatever it is, who is going to benefit most from what it is that you can teach them or provide for them? Now, when you have that person in mind, where are they at on their journey? If you think about their kind of life, whether it's in a certain role or in a certain aspect of their life, where are they at on this time span? Like if we were marketing to mothers, them knowing if they're pregnant or on child 3 makes a big difference to their attitude and the kinds of things they want to know and learn. The same is true for any person across any industry. You knowing where they are on their journey is a really critical component of this. And based on where they are on their journey, what are the current problems they're facing? Because ultimately, they may experience a lot of common problems that occur at various places along this journey. But when you're in the weeds, when you're in the thick of it, you really have only so many things that you can focus on. And this tends to be true, regardless of industry. If you can think about that person and know where they are on their journey, you want to be thinking about, is that person at that point on their journey ready for what I have to offer? And if the answer is no, then maybe you need to be marketing to a different part of that journey. Not necessarily a whole new person, but someone who's at a different place, at a different point. And specifically, when they're at that point, what is the thing they need to know or understand or learn or get through before they're ready to work with you? Now, I think it's critical that we take it a step further, because a lot of the times, those problems, the things they're experiencing right before it makes sense to work with you, there is a lot of free and available information out there. So I want you also to be thinking about, what are they nosy about at this stage? What are they curious about? What are the things that are going to spark their interest and get them to go, I wonder if, or I wonder what that is, or I wonder what's inside. You want to create this sense of wonder. You want to create this opportunity for them to get a peek behind the curtain. And when they get the peek behind the curtain, you are going to wow them with what it is that you have to say. And a lead magnet is going to be an opportunity to earn their trust. I like to think of a lead magnet as a little bit of a tease. Now, it's not to say that you aren't providing real value, but it's often the what and not the how. You are giving them the lay of the land without telling them all the things they need to do to get over those hurdles. The getting over the hurdles is why they want to work with you. But you being transparent about what it's going to take, that is going to provide them an opportunity to see that you know what you're talking about, and that you are going to be super clear about what is needed for them to get to where they want to go. Now, an often forgotten step at this point in the process is we want to think about who we do not want to attract. Who does not make sense to have in our network, in our pool of potential clients? Who does not align? Now, it's not to say that we're doing this to, say someone cannot work with us, but we are doing this so that we are being more targeted on the kind of person that we can help. Now, sometimes this is little things that make a really big difference. For example, sometimes we want to attract a certain person at a certain point on their journey that has a certain budget. And who we don't want to attract is people who cannot afford what it is that we have to offer. And so, it may be tempting to put out the ultimate guide of how to do blah, blah, blah on the cheap or, on a budget, but you including the phrase on a budget or free or cheap or whatever is going to attract DIYers. Which there's nothing wrong with DIYers. That might be your ideal audience. In some cases, that's exactly who you want to talk to. But for a lot of people, if you are trying to offer them a service, you don't want them to DIY it. You want them to realize that they're going to need help. You want them to hire you. And so making sure you're attracting the right person who is equipped and willing to spend the money is a really critical component of this. Now, that doesn't necessarily stay the same if on the other side, you're offering a do-it-yourself course that is inexpensive, that is at an accessible price point. If that's the case, then you want to change the language up front to purposefully attract the people that are going to be in the mentality of doing it yourself. Now, in that case, it doesn't necessarily mean on a budget, because you still want them to be able to afford what it is that you have to offer. But you can target someone who's interested in doing it themselves and is interested in learning and has that thirst for learning. Now, I see a lot of people get really caught up in this process and they spend way too long thinking about what could work or what might work or how to position it appropriately, or does the language say the right things to get the right people in the door. And here's the thing. I don't care if we're talking about your first offer, your first lead magnet, your next lead magnet, your next solution, whatever, regardless of what we're ultimately marketing. The best way you are going to learn is by putting it out into the world. Your first is never your last, whether we're talking about a paid offer or a free one. And so you testing it is going to be far more critical information than you stewing on a headline for 2 weeks. So while all of these things should be taken into account, I don't want you to stay here. You being in this position is like, an hour of the time that you're thinking through what this could be. Now, I'll give you an example of a way I kind of tweaked something. Earlier this year, I was planning out an upcoming lead magnet about email marketing because I plan to launch an email marketing course, hint, 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 very, very soon. And I wanted to have a lead magnet that made it clear that the people who got it were interested in growing their email list. Now, originally, I was going to have the lead magnet be about innovative ways that you could grow your email list. And it was going to include a list of ways that I had used and that had been effective for me. But by positioning it based on ways you can grow your email list, it doesn't sound that interesting. It really doesn't. I mean, even to me, I was bored. I literally was like, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. And instead, I flipped it on its head. I didn't change it all that much. Okay. Instead, I wrote a case study about how I added nearly 10,000 email subscribers to my list in just 6 months. The guts of the content still include ways to grow your email list. It still includes the ways I use to grow my email list and the results I got from it. The difference was the positioning of the title. And the title itself became more enticing to my potential ideal client. But the contents didn't change that much. Now, I did move away from doing it in a list format and talking about this specific strategy and then explaining the strategy, and instead moved to talking about it on a timeline and almost a journal type style where I talked through my marketing strategies over time and the specific results they garnered, what I would do again and what I would not do again. So it was more of a personal take, but it was still the same content. But you're here for the meat and potatoes. You want to know about the 9 ultimate lead magnets. Here's the thing. There's a lot. There's way more than 9. There's so many more than 9. You can get so creative with this, but I want to get you started. I want to get you over the hump. I want you to be building your email list. When I polled my people, the vast, vast majority had less than 1,000 subscribers. And almost 40%, I was either almost 30 or almost 40, I'd have to go back and check, had no list at all. So I don't want you to think that you're alone in this. There's plenty of people that are ready and excited to see growth that aren't there yet. But that doesn't mean we need to sit here and stew about the thing we could do for the next few months. Instead, I want you taking action. So I have kind of divided this up into things that I think are a little simpler to execute on and some that are a bit more complex. But some of you may already have the complex things in motion, and I'll talk about what that looks like when I get there. Okay, so let's talk about this simple type of lead magnets. Now, all of the simple lead magnets I'm describing could be delivered in text only. Now, I'm going to talk about design and format considerations in my next section, but I just want you to know that theoretically, this is just copy. This is not any more complicated than that. It could be a PDF, but I'll talk about other ways it could show up. Now, the first one is a case study. I think a case study can be incredibly interesting. I think often calling it a case study is not so interesting, but the contents of what you or a client did or accomplished, specifically sharing results, is always interesting, especially when the results are something your ideal client is envious of or desires. If the results are something your ideal client is envious of or desires, a case study may be an incredible lead magnet for you. Now, a guide is another option. Now, with a guide specifically, guides have been incredibly popular in the past, but you need to go beyond the how to do something. For a guide to be truly successful, it should include your personal notes and takeaways. Now, consider this. You could Google guide to Italy and come up with tons of options, most of which are free and open to the internet. But not very many people are going to have a guide to Italy from an expat who's been living abroad for 10 years. The story and specificities of someone with that experience is going to create a better experience for the person getting the actual lead magnet. They want your take because they want to know your opinion. Does that make sense? So think about if you're going to offer a guide and talk about how to do something or how to go about something, the reason someone wants it isn't because they want to know how. It's because they want to know your how. And that is going to make all the difference in your marketing. So definitely be really illustrating that. Have you been wanting to launch a digital product, but you don't know where to start? Perhaps you're struggling to pick the right profitable idea. Is the idea there, but you just need to get the ball rolling again? I got you. I want to help you go from idea to launch in just one day. I partnered with Teachable to bring you the one-day launch challenge. So far, we've helped 6,786 people do just that. Inside this challenge, we're helping you pick the right idea, getting all the tech set up. Heck, you could even collect your very first payment the same day. It's all loaded up for you and ready to dive in at bossproject.com/launch. Don't wait until you're ready to sign up. We got pre-challenge goodies ready and waiting for you, including 100 profitable digital product ideas. Just head to bossproject.com/launch and get started today. Ready to accelerate your business? I'm ready to give you the momentum. Maybe you're like Victoria, who has already seen some success, but is ready to substantially increase business. Maybe you're like Bernadette, who is a true subject matter expert in her field, but is ready to turn it into a full-time business. Maybe you're like Neil, who's spent an entire career in one field and is looking for a new challenge. Maybe you're busier than ever like Kelly and just looking for resources to save you time. Maybe you're like Byron, who's excited to connect with people in community, who want to grow, who want to learn, and who want to help. The co-op may be exactly what you've been looking for. Consider this your very personal invitation to join us. Head to creativetemplateshop.com/membership to find out more. I cannot wait to see you inside. Another way to go about this would be a workbook. Now, this provides a way to be a little more interactive in how you guide someone through the process. I find that this tends to be more effective for someone in some sort of coaching capacity that plans to continue to work with someone through similar processes. This can be an example for what your working relationship might look like as a client. I also think sometimes workbooks are overdone. So like, if you feel like you've seen a million workbooks about XYZ thing, maybe you have. And I'm not here to say that it's oversaturated and you can't put it out there and da da da. Sure, you can put it out there, but if there's a million things that look like it, like why would someone want to download yours? You need to be thinking about what is your unique differentiator. And that doesn't mean packing it with more. Like I often see a lot of people who are like, well, people have a 7-day workbook for da 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 da. So if I do a 30-day workbook or a 30-day email mini course or whatever, that like that's going to make it more valuable. Not necessarily. More isn't necessarily more. More can often lead to overwhelm and inaction. And so I want you thinking about what makes it different. The thing that makes it different is maybe that it's so quick. What if this workbook is something they could do in 5 minutes or less? I remember one of my most popular lead magnets ever. I still have the URL, so don't you go trying to steal it. Was the easiest business plan ever. The easiest business plan ever was 1 page. And I marketed it as such. I said, this is a 1-page plan to go about starting your business. And it was downloaded thousands and thousands and thousands of times because it was simple, because people were overwhelmed, because people wanted a path forward that felt like they could do it. Okay. Another option, we've talked about a case study, a guide, a workbook. Another option would be some sort of resource list. Now, here's the deal. This has been done before and done many times before and done successfully before. But people obviously can Google a bunch of resources. So I want you to think about what are the resources that are sort of like hidden gems? The things that are, people know less about. And I think the people who've done this successfully well in recent days have been doing it for things that people have seen, but didn't understand how other people were getting it done. Now, there's some irony in the story I'm about to tell you, but take it for what it is. Okay. So earlier this year, a friend of mine posted about Zapier. And, in this industry, a ton of people know about Zapier. Zapier is a tool that can connect various softwares to create automations. And when you have a lot of different tech tools, you need Zapier to talk to the tools for you. It connects things. And she posted about this way to save money on your plan. And she's like, oh my gosh, guys, like you can get unlimited zaps with this plan. Like, go check this out. And that created so much buzz because people were like, yes, please. How can I save money with Zapier? How can I get this cheaper? Like, I kid you not. She had like 700 comments in like, I don't even know, a couple of hours. Like, it was crazy. Now, she didn't require someone to give their email address to get the answer, but she absolutely should have because it was so wild of a response. Now, the irony of the story is that all these months later, and she had no idea. But the company has committed fraud and Zapier has gone after them and it's a mess. But this is not to scare you away from sharing your hidden gems. It's just funny that happened to be my example. But there may be a tool that you love that a lot of people don't know about that would solve a huge problem for your ideal clients. And instead of just telling them what it is, you can package up the information and sort of like the hidden details that they need to know in a lead magnet. And then like take it a step further, you could be an affiliate for that tool and make money when they convert through your link. Now, this could be one tool. This could be a plethora of hidden gems, but I wouldn't just say a blanket set of resources. I've seen a lot less traction there lately. Now, speaking of quick transformations, quick results, people want quick. A cheat sheet can work really well. a quick reference guide of sorts. I have a friend who's up here in this like online learning industry, but her background is in teaching Excel. Okay. She's like the world leader in teaching Excel. If you Google how to do something in Excel, one of her videos comes up on YouTube, undoubtedly. But her putting out a cheat sheet to do a specific kind of task in Excel, incredible lead magnet, hands down, because she's already proven herself to be the person that makes things easy for that platform. So you would absolutely download some sort of cheat sheet she put together because she's saved your butt so many times before. Excellent. Excellent. A cheat sheet's a great opportunity. Now, those are the fast and furious ones. Those are the ones that I think most people can put together in a day. If you can't put your lead magnet together in a day, you're making it too complicated. In fact, you should be able to do it in a couple of hours. Max. Okay. Now, these more complex ones are not necessarily things that come together as quickly. However, this is where my asterisk goes. However, some of you may have already built these for clients and you can pull them out from your paid offer. It's a component of something you already sell. Instead of taking the whole thing, we're just taking a piece out and offering that for free. Now, some examples would include a template, like a pre-made document or design file, a swipe file, and this is typically like copy-based or more strategy-based. It could be a calculator. I've previously done several calculators in my business. I have one that's like a conversion calculator that's like based on your offer type. Here's kind of like the conversion rate you can expect. And then you can reverse engineer how many leads it's going to take to reach your sales goal. I've also done a similar calculator for understanding what your price point needs to be based on your overhead and how many hours you want to be working. And there's a bunch of components that go into it. But calculators can be a great tool. Now, probably the most complicated and most complex option, but one that can bring a lot of people in all at once, is putting together some sort of activation. Now, a lead magnet is typically providing someone some answers, right? We're just like laying it out. Versus an activation, they're actually moving through some sort of transformation. Like they're actively doing something. Okay. And so I have done this a lot in challenges or live events. And instead of just, having a webinar where someone goes and they see something, the goal would be that they workshop something, that by the end of the event, whatever it is, that they've actually accomplished something. And that proof of results makes it so much more likely that they're going to convert into some sort of paid offer. So that is an option, but definitely the most complex of the 9 strategies we've talked about. Now, I do want to talk about format because I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with how am I going to deliver on this? I feel like I can think through what this could be. I understand I could deliver it this way, but if I, change the title, it might be more enticing. But how do I give it to them? Now, you're definitely going to want an email service provider. And my personal favorite is Flowdesk. I've talked about them a lot lately and I freaking love them. They have not paid me to say this. I just genuinely enjoy their service. And for having a list that's I think last I checked, 66,000 people, it's servicing people that are just getting started to people who have a really large list. You can try it free and you can get your first year for 50% off if you go to bossproject.com/flowdesk. Now it's FLODESK. There's no W. FLODESK. Definitely worth trying. Now, once you have an email service provider, you can deliver it a couple of different ways. You can deliver it super simply by putting the actual contents in the email they receive. So they sign up with a form, you send them an email that contains the information of the lead magnet. There's no separate anything. You can also utilize something like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. Like, it doesn't have to be this super fancy designed thing. I have absolutely done this before as a way to deliver a lead magnet. Now, I don't know if you know this hack, but it's super cool. If you go to share a Google Doc, make sure you have it on anyone with this link can view, not edit. And then when you go to copy the link, it's going to say /edit at the end, even though the person who goes to that page wouldn't necessarily be able to edit. If you change that to /copy, when someone gets that link, it will immediately prompt them to make a copy of the document without you having to put anything at the top that says, do not alter, please make a copy, da, 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 da. It will literally just immediately prompt them, make a copy when you send them the link. Super awesome. And the third way, which is definitely the most complex way, but not hard by any means, you can build it out in something like Canva. Now, we have templates for all of these. If you want to deliver it in an email, a Google Doc, or you want to deliver it in some sort of designed PDF in Canva, we have templates for all of them at creativetemplateshop.com. And if you become a co-op member at creativetemplateshop.com/membership, you get access to thousands of templates to make this so much easier. So definitely check that out. I think that can be an incredible tool for you to move forward. Now, beyond that, after you've thought about who this is for, you've come up with a compelling title, you've put together the contents, and you've figured out a way to deliver it, you need effective promotion strategies. And that's like a whole other enchilada I haven't even got into today. And so I want to take this to the next step. I want to give you more meat. I want to give you more action steps, more ways to move forward, and definitely walk through promotion strategies, because this is a really important part of how to get more leads. I am putting together a brand new workshop, totally free, just for y'all. You can go to bossproject.com/email. That's bossproject.com/email. And you can sign up for Leads on Autopilot, how to get your first or next 1,000 subscribers. It is going to be an incredible workshop, and we're definitely going to be talking through the marketing component, as well as giving you a bunch more strategies to move on your way to building an email list that isn't just putting people on a list, but is actually an incredible sales tool to help you grow your business. It has been such a joy to have you today. I hope you are going to walk away with some incredible tools and you're ready to move forward. Again, those quick links for you. If you wanted the ways I grew my email list and added nearly 10,000 subscribers, you can go to bossproject.com/leads. If you want to check out creativetemplateshop.com, head that way. And if you want to join us for my upcoming workshop, Leads on Autopilot, go to bossproject.com/email. Thanks for listening. Hey, a few quick favors before you leave. I'd love if you'd share today's episode, send it to a friend who needs to hear it, and post on social. You can show us where you're listening from, your favorite takeaway, or why someone else should listen. Be sure to tag me at Abigail Says and at Boss Project so we can share it. Okay, second favor, to get podcast updates and all the behind the scenes news from Boss Project, I'd love if you'd join my VIP list. Just head to bossproject.com/sign up to make sure I have all your contact details. Really love the show? It would mean so much to me if you'd leave a rating and review. It not only helps more listeners find the show, but allows us to bring on quality sponsors so we can keep bringing you this valuable content for free. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.